Hi everyone, Terry here. Welcome back to Simply Legal. Today I'm with a very special guest. She's a real estate mogul, someone who has been in the industry for a long time. She's a real estate agent, and I think the rest should introduce herself.
Thank you for having me on your channel.
You're welcome. The viewers are really interested in knowing what the interest is about being on Simply Legal, and since today's topic is about caveats, they want to know why you as a real estate agent would want to know information about caveats.
I've been fortunate and very lucky to work with people in the diaspora, Ugandans back home, and I noticed the common question and the main worry of real estate investors in Uganda is the issue about fraud. You buy a piece of land, 2 months down the road, the actual owner comes and says it's theirs. Before you know it, the third person is coming and claiming the land. So I feel like it's an issue that we have here in Uganda. So it's very important for us to know about caveats because it's a way of protecting yourself if you find yourself in such a situation. Yeah.
Okay, so basically someone in real estate, once they're interested, they will need a caveat one way or the other. Okay, any questions you have for me, or you want me to explain to the viewers what a caveat is?
Yes, so mainly what we would want to know is why a caveat and what's the importance of a caveat.
Okay, basically a caveat is a document someone gets from court to protect his interest in the land. Why do they need to do this? Because when someone has interest in the land, either legal or equitable, they can use this caveat to protect themselves, especially if there's an ongoing case. In most cases, a caveat is used in matters of fraud or in matters to protect their land. Let's say if they want to ascertain something concerning that land, maybe if there's a case that's going on, and in most cases they use the law, which is section 139 of the Registration of Titles Act.
Okay, so what really counts as equitable interest and legal interest? Can you break it down?
Elucidate more.
Exactly.
Okay, we have two types of interests in law. We have legal and equitable interest. Briefly speaking, legal interest is one that is registered in law. A legal interest is if I buy land next to Village Mall, Bugolobi, or anywhere in Uganda, and I'm registered in law. I have a certificate of title, and I have my own copy. The land board has its own copy and everything, and the courts of law are aware that I am the registered landowner. Once I'm registered as a landowner, that means that I'm a legal interest owner. However, equitable, before that, a legal interest owner is one which is enforceable in law, and it's the strongest interest. However, equitable interest is also enforceable, but mainly in courts of equity. But that's too technical now. But it's also enforceable in normal court system, the High Court and what. An equitable interest is one which is not registered in law, but it is enforceable. And an equitable interest, let me just give you an example for the viewers to understand. If I lose my grandmother and my grandmother left me as an administrator of her estate, I think that one most people can understand. She left me as basically the one who should govern her estate, and someone comes claiming, saying your grandmother sold me this land, and I'll say I didn't have a land title, the land title didn't shift, there's no receipt of payment and everything. I can contest it in courts of law. I can lodge a caveat by saying I have equitable interest in this land, and therefore this person cannot just deal in the land, so therefore I can lodge a caveat. So equitable interest is a smaller, lesser interest than legal, but it's also enforceable. It's not registered, but you can apply for, and it can be in anything. You're a spouse of the deceased, you're a child of the deceased, anything. Once my parent, or once your parent has died, or anything, once someone has died in your family, you can go and apply for letters of administration or a grant of probate. Basically, if your person died without a will, then that person died intestate in law, and therefore it means once you've been granted letters of administration, you have interest in the land, meaning you can do whatever you want with that person's estate in their interest. You either give it to their kids or yourself, or you govern it in the way that they would have governed it. So there you have a very strong interest in land, which is still equitable. Yes.
So how can one get this caveat? What does it look like?
First of all, you apply for it, like I said, under section 139 of the Registration of Titles Act. Once it's given to you, now the most important step is how to lodge the caveat. I think that's what you're asking. How can I put it into play?
Yes. sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
In terms of the documents needed, in terms of the costs involved in lodging this caveat, is it free?
It's not free.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not. There's nothing free in this world. It comes at a cheap cost, which most people can afford.
Okay.
So once you get the caveat from court, you've already applied for it and it's given to you. The steps are: number one, you need 2 passport photos of you, the caveator.
Okay.
If me, Terry Kahuma, I'm the caveator, I need 2 passport photos.
Okay.
I need 2 copies of the caveat document.
Okay. That's the application?
No, the actual
Caveat?
document, like
The actual document.
Yeah, the application is already done.
It's
Court has
separate.
given it to me.
Okay.
They have
Fine.
ascertained that I have interest.
Okay, so that's the very first step.
That's the
you
first
need
step.
an application.
Yes, and for the
Okay.
application to be granted, you need interest. Court will need to ascertain what interest this person have.
It has to be reasonable.
It has to be
right?
reasonable.
Yeah.
So if you don't have interest, that means they can't even give you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've already gotten the caveat, you've gotten the document. You need 2 copies of the caveat.
Okay.
You need 2 passport photos. The caveat needs to be signed by your advocate, who is your counsel, who is working alongside you. 2 passport photos, 2 documents. It needs to be signed by a commissioner for oaths, who is a lawyer, who is a certified commissioner for oaths,
Yes.
not just anyone. And a statutory declaration. The viewers may not know what it is, but it's just you basically giving a brief on who you are. I'm a caveator. I'm applying for this caveat because of so and so. My name is so and so. I'm a competent Ugandan. That kind of thing. It's kind of like a statutory affidavit. Yeah. So step 2 is you need to fill in your details as a caveator. I, Terry Kahuma, I'm lodging this caveat on this said piece of land in Bogolobi, block this, plot number this, plot 4, because of this issue, and I'm aware the caveat will last for about 60 days. Yes. Step 3 is actually the last one, the easiest, which is to pay stamp duty, which is 20,000 shillings. And also to register the caveat, which is 10,000 shillings, and the caveat is lodged. It's actually quite simple. And it's the simplest interim remedy.
Okay.
For those of you who may not know what an interim remedy is, it's the quickest remedy. It's a short-term remedy.
So you find out today that someone has been selling your land. You're the rightful owner.
Yeah.
So the very first thing you do before you even look for a lawyer to go to court to file a case to sue is the
Lodge a caveat. Yeah.
It's the immediate one.
Apply
yeah.
for caveat, lodge it, and it's very enforceable in court.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long does it take for this whole process? Because I need to know how immediate. Does that mean that I can lodge a caveat within 1 day? How long is the process?
It's a case-by-case basis,
Yeah.
but it's mainly, of course, depends on the money bit, and also how urgent is the matter. You can go to a registrar. A registrar is like a mini judge. You can also go to a judge or any person who can help you in courts of law, who can help you apply for the caveat.
Okay.
But it takes a reasonably short time for you to lodge it.
Okay.
The caveat also lasts 60 days. It's about 2 months. Because what you viewers need to know is that a caveat is a temporary relief. It's a temporary injunction. You will not just lodge a caveat and then just sit back and say, oh, I'm Kawa now. It takes a reasonably short time until it enables you to get a more permanent relief.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. The channel has been very glad to have you.
Thank you.
These minutes have really gone just like that, and yet we've shared a lot of information. The viewers are very glad. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of backlash from the comment section. For those of you new to my channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Once again, this is Praise. She is a YouTuber as well. She's a vlogger, and her channel is Ask Praise. So for those of you who are new to my channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Feel free to check out Ask Praise, which is Madam Praise's channel, and feel free to give us your comments about what you thought about this video and a future video. We will do other videos, video collabs together, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I hope you don't add this. Any more questions?
Actually, I will.